Hey there, Hobby Warriors. Welcome back to the channel. It's 2023, and with that comes a new Warhammer 40k Chapter Approved Grand Tournament Mission Pack. This is my first time actually reviewing one of these on the channel, and I'm also testing out this new top-down view that I've got going on with some of the new equipment I acquired over the holidays. So we're going to jump right in. Now, a lot of this information has already been spoiled, so I'm not going to go super in detail in this video. But if there's any key parts of the book that you want me to, give my thoughts and go a little bit deeper, leave a comment down in the comment section below. Let me know, and I'll be happy to do a video for that. Also, while I'm thinking about it, go ahead and hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you like the content here on the channel, and let me know how I'm doing down in the comments. All right, so with this, they really have shaken up match play for Warhammer 40,000. Now, a lot of people are rumor mongering and saying that we're coming to the end of 9th edition, and this book kind of gives some credence to that idea. That this is a lot of drastic changes that almost kind of feels like they're playtesting some new ideas that we may see in an upcoming 10th edition. So looking here at the table of contents, they have a little blurb about battle ready painting, some intro information about Arks of Omen Grand Tournament games. They do have a tournament scoring sheet that you can photocopy. That's pretty useful. They have all new secondary objectives, and they actually limit your secondary choices to they have to come out of this book. You can't take the ones in your codex, which is an interesting restriction. We won't go too far in depth. I'll show them on screen briefly, so you can pause and read them if you want. And again, if you want me to do videos about specific factions, let me know down in the comments. And then after that, they go into the actual missions. So there's 9 incursion missions in here, so 1,000 points or below, and then 9 strike force missions for 2,000 points and above. All right, so we can skip that battle ready. Got a nice little full-page art print in there. Not art, but photo rather. So now here is the army muster rules. So they've already spoiled the Arks of Omen detachment, which is kind of nuts and really just lets you take whatever you want. So for all of those min-maxers who are kind of common in the tournament scene, this is probably a dream come true for them. Whatever broken combos that they love in their faction, you have the freedom to do that with next to no tax. Literally, the only tax that you have to take is 1 HQ. Now, one thing that is kind of interesting, which almost seems like it was an attempt to sort of stop that from happening. I will have to see how effective it was. I personally don't think it's very effective, but time will tell as more and more people start playing games. So these blurbs under Section 2 essentially amount to 1, every army starts with 6 CP. There's no command cost for the Arks of Omen detachment, so everybody's starting with 6 CP. You cannot, by default, get a Warlord trait or a relic. You have to use these 2 new stratagems in order to get them, and you can only get 1 of each. So you can get 1 Warlord trait, you can get 1 relic, and that's going to drop you to starting with 4 CP instead of 6. So that's a huge shakeup for the current meta, where there are multiple armies that have stratagems that would let you double up on Warlord traits and give extra models Warlord traits and so forth. Here you get 1 Warlord trait for your entire army, and you have to pay for it. Same with your relic. There's no dipping into the armory and handing out relics to your sergeants anymore. If you're playing one of these Grand Tournament games, that's out the window. Now, this last stratagem is pretty interesting. It's not game-breaking, but if there's a detachment ability that limits the number of a special unit that you can add, so say like your Imperial Navy Breachers, you can use this for 1 CP and double up on your allotment. So instead of 1 unit, you can take 2. So not game breaking, pretty interesting in the flexibility that it offers you. So yeah, so you have this wide open detachment. You have some restrictions on taking, extra powerful abilities. So time will tell how that all pans out. Now there's some interesting ally rules in here called Battle Brothers. So you're allowed to take you're forced to take an Arks of Omen detachment, rather. But if you, let's see here, you can include one allied detachment, either an Agents of the Imperium Auxiliary Support or Patrol detachment, or one Imperial Knight Super Heavy Auxiliary detachment, which must contain one Free Blade, or a Votann Patrol detachment. So the Votann being Battle Brothers, that was already kind of spoiled. Very interesting to see how that will pan out. So if you're a Suriani or Jukari, you can include a Harlequin's patrol. If you're Astra Militarum, you can take a patrol of Militarum Tempestus, which that's nice to see them getting a little bit of love. They did not get much love in their own codex, so maybe this will help get them on the table. It's kind of sad that within their own book, the Kasarkin pretty much have the exact same loadout and benefit from all of the rest of the Astra Militarum special rules, and the Tempestus are kind of just left off on the shelf. Gene Sealer cults, you can include one Brood Brother Patrol Auxiliary Support or Super Heavy Auxiliary detachment as an allied detachment. So they still get, they are Brood Brothers in Arks of Omen, which is pretty good for them. Let's see, for Chaos, you could take Chaos Knights in a Super Heavy Auxiliary. World Eaters, you could take Legiones Demonica Patrol, specifically with the Corn keyword. And then same with the other God-aligned Traitor Legions. You can take their associated demons in a patrol detachment. Let's see. See, now if your Arks of Omen detachment is a Legiones Demonica detachment, and your army is the Disciples of Be'lakor, Army of Renown, you can include one Traitoris Astartes patrol detachment, and you can include one Chaos Knight Super Heavy Auxiliary detachment. It has to be a House Corvax unit. Interesting. So if you're demons, you can actually take two allied detachments, where most other forces are restricted to just one. Then after that, they lay out specifically how you determine your mission, place your objective markers, and so forth. I won't go into detail with that. It's all relatively standard, easy to follow. Feel free to pause the video if you want to peek at something in detail. Here they give an example of the tournament scoring sheet, and there's a empty copy of it in the back of the book. And now we go into the secondary objectives. So the big change with secondary objectives, I'm not going to read all of this text to you guys, but the big change is your secondary objectives have to come out of this book. You cannot use the ones in the codex for your army. You have to use what's in the book. Now, the way they have this laid out is actually kind of nice. So they break down the new sort of generic secondaries that everybody can take by categories. So you have Purge the Enemy, and then No Mercy, No Respite, and they give you all the details and so forth. And then they also tell you what page the faction secondaries, where a faction has a secondary in this book under this category. So if you look at Purge the Enemy, for instance, and you're like, man, I really like Purge the Enemy, I want to see what my options are, you can come over to the faction secondaries, and it will tell you, what page you can find that information on. Now, one key thing, as you can probably tell, that this column is not the same size as that column. Not all factions have faction secondaries in each category. So that will make some interesting choices for people, and also kind of add some flavor into your list building. So I'll flip slowly through these. I'm not going to read all of these out. Feel free to pause the video if you want to read something in more detail. And now we're into the faction secondary section. And it is kind of nice to see that everybody seems to have gotten at least something new in this section. And again, if there's any of these armies that you wanted me to go in detail and give my thoughts on, how this might affect their list selection and so forth going forward, let me know down in the comments. Now we're on to the Xenos forces. Oh, skipped one. Can't forget about the Tau. Leagues of Votan. And now we're into the missions. So the incursion missions up first. Again, I'm not going to read through all of these in detail. The key thing I want to point out here is that these are still objective-based missions. So even though the Arks of Omen detachment kind of makes your list building wide open, and you can kind of take whatever you want, you still want to have some objectives secured in your army because you do need to take and hold objectives in these missions. So, completely foregoing troops, maybe a little bit of a trap, as, if you're going against, say a horde army with tons of troops, you're never going to be able to score points on the main mission objectives. So, going crazy with the Arks of Omen detachment might not necessarily be the best way to go. But again, time will tell. Nice little picture there. And then the Strike Force missions. Now, this does kind of feel like, a lot of this information could have just been in a free PDF update. And then, if you wanted to buy the book, it could have been optional if you wanted to just have a physical copy available. I will say, though, that it is convenient, having, the small form factor book during your games that you can refer to. So for me personally, it's a worthwhile purchase, but other people may not necessarily, feel the same. So here's that tournament scoring sheet that I was referring to that you can, print out, probably resize it so that it's, full letter size, not this little tiny, form. But there's place for you to designate, what type of game, what mission it was, all of your opponent's information, and all of your information, and then results down at the bottom. Relatively simple form, but if you're into, keeping data on your games and, doing some in-depth analysis of your performance, this could be a huge boon for you to go ahead and collect those data points. So that was a cool little inclusion there. And then in the back, they've got a rehash of some of the basic rules. So you can use this as a rules reference, which is pretty cool. It'll save you from having to lug your giant core rulebook around. Even got terrain and rare rules in here. And that's pretty much it all the way to the end of the book. You've got a little glossary here in the back. And then on the final page, which I'm not going to show off, they do have a code to where if you utilize the Warhammer app, you can add this to your My Warhammer library, and you'll be able to access the data from the book inside the app, which is actually super convenient for the missions. If you guys aren't subscribers of the app, because I know a lot of people were kind of turned off from the Warhammer animations being tied to the app access, I can actually show you guys what that looks like. So let me know down in the comments if that is something you want to see, and I'll be happy to show you guys. Well, that's it for this video. Stay tuned. Coming up soon, I'm going to do something similar for the Arks of Omen Abaddon campaign expansion. I'm super excited for the boarding action games. I'm actually getting ready to work on some of the terrain, which I'll be doing some videos around that on the channel. And then once I get that terrain painted up, the nice thing about small 500-point games is I can shoot battle reports right in my living room. So be on the lookout for that coming up in the near future. Also, I think I'm going to give the streaming thing a shot again over the weekend. Most likely Saturday. I will try to post something in the community area on YouTube because I don't have a time hammered out just yet. But keep on the lookout for that. If you want to get those notifications, make sure that you like the video, subscribe, and click the notification bell. And with that, I will see you all in the next video.